Dun 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 dun. We've ascended. Dun 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 dun. My voice is barely here. Dun 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 dun. I have no voice. I have no voice. Oh my goodness. Hold up, man. Yo, my laptop I think is dead. We're not prepared today. We're not prepared today in the slightest. Hold up, boys. Alright, hold on. We might be good. Oh, no, we're good. I got it at 98%. We good. We're good to go. Hold on, where's the video? Yes, sir. My people. What is going on? Hold on, let me make sure this is good. Yo. Dog. Let me tell y'all, man. Before we get into the chapter, and before we talk about the insanity, a little bit of what took place last night, because I'm not going to spoil anyone, obviously. But I just want to give a massive shout out to my boy JB, a fellow author in this community. His book is currently out. There's a link in the description, y'all. I had the opportunity to follow this Joy Boy's journey here in the creation of this first volume. He put so much love and passion into this, and I had the opportunity to be able to read it as he was writing it, and it was a beautiful thing. And so I just want to say massive congratulations to my dog JB. And if you are looking for some greatness to read, a brand new series that is undoubtedly going to be one of the very best new published works that have been released in 2022, check out The Booms Volume 1. There will be a link to the Amazon, to the books section on the Amazon page in the description box down below. Because my boy is out here creating heat, and I want to support him, man. So shout out to my boy, JB. So, ladies and gentlemen, the film Red Afterthoughts is an hour long. I have never done a movie Afterthoughts that is that long. But last night truly was just, I'm going to cherish that experience forever, y'all. I really, really am, man. This is completely gone because of that, and because even though it was already horrible on the way home, my voice, I came here and recorded an hour-long video. That's why I have no voice here. But y'all, I cannot state enough how goated that experience was last night. I'm going to try to get the Afterthoughts up as soon as possible for Film Red. Because like I said, due to it being an hour, it's going to take it a minute to be able to get up, especially in 1080p. So that will be up today 100%, whether it be right after this video or a couple hours later. It will be up today, my time, no question. But for right now, we gotta calm down. I'm gonna try to get the voice going because we have a new installment coming off of break that had some of the craziest chapters. Holy flagnards, y'all. Especially after the cliffhanger that we had in 1064. I cannot wait to see what my boy Oda is cooking when I find out that my audio is good. Let me know if my audio is good, y'all, and we'll get right into this. Because if the audio is good, we are going to go right up in there like swimwear into the latest installment in that Egghead Island greatness. As good as Film Red. We're locked in. Thank you, Queen Slayer. Audio's good. Oh, man. As good as Film Red. Goodness, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today to read the latest installment in that final saga greatness of the best-selling manga in history. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to what is undoubtedly the second best-selling comic of all time. We are here today. Last night in the cinema, today we're still experiencing peak literature, ladies and gentlemen. Chapter 1065 of our beloved One Piece. I have to say one thing. One thing. There was a scene last night that I saw. There aren't enough Santa hats on the planet to describe what I saw last night. For the first time since I got the peg leg, I didn't feel the peg leg. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So, let's continue. I have a whole jug of water here. And when I say jug, I mean Puerto Rican vasos de agua. You know what I mean? Oh, it's going to be a long one. This is going to be a long one, but we are here for it. Let's go ahead and go to the TC of B's. I want to appreciate everybody for stopping by. I know this is another one of those early morning ones, but it's got to be done. You know what I mean? And that is that we're later than usual. Usually we do this 2 hours earlier, but it's got to be done, y'all. It's got to be done. Let's go. Even Hunter x Hunter. I'm going to do probably on Sunday. There's a few different things that I want to do before then. So if you're a Hunter x Hunter fan, look forward to that on Sunday because the weekend's gonna be extremely packed. So we'll leave it for Sunday. I'm very excited to get back into that. But let's go right into the GOAT. Let me see if I can click on it without looking at the title. Yes, sir. I'll be good. Oh, One Piece got the cover this week? One Piece chapter 1065. One Piece film. That junk was peak, man. Bro, y'all gotta understand, dude. That junk was peak. Peak, son. Oh, hold on, man. I gotta save this. With context, I have to save this. I really, really do. You know what I mean? I gotta save this cover, son. Ooh, film red cover, ladies and gentlemen. Utai and Monkey D. Goatman on the cover of Weekly Shonen Jump. Oh, we love to see it. We seriously love to see it, man. World, please take a good long look at this week's color spread. I tried really hard to capture the film's emotional climax. Oh my god. I'm kind of scared to look. I'm kind of scared to look. I'm really, really scared to look. Because the climax, son. Y'all, I'm not ready. But real talk, hold up. Let me make sure that I got that the camera's working. Hold up. Yo, I'm scared. New wallpaper, hold up. Yo. Oh my god. Okay. Hold up, man. Hold up. This color spread is about as peak as that final climax, bro. Yo! this? Oh, the Usopp. Oh, he got a curry, son. No, man, you Luffy, Shanks, and Uta. I gotta clap it up real quick, man, like I did in the video last night. Oh man, yo, they were. Oh, this is instant wallpaper. Oh, it's instant. Look at Lucky Room, son. He's eating meat. He's eating Admiral meat. Yo, Lucky Roo. Rockstar. Rockstar. The monkey. Yo, that monkey has Conqueror's coding, bro. I've been trying to tell y'all for years, man. Dog. Benny Beck. Oh, man. Yo, but yo, Luffy and Shanks and Uta. Oh, Oda, man. Great color spread. Hold on. Let me make sure I have that saved. I do have it saved. That is a wallpaper and a half. That is a wallpaper and a half, man. Oh, yo, it's like the memories from last night are just flowing in, bro. Bro, like, that was peak fiction, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. Like, legit, man, legit. Lab stratum egghead. Okay, now let's get into the chapter. I just gotta get one more look at this color spread, bro. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, they're about to have me like flipping Viserys from House of Dragon, man. I'm about to be on the bed, asking for some oxygen, bro. Lab stratum egghead. The island of the future. The reason they stayed on the ship. The way I see it, when it comes to a government, Zoro. When it comes to a government island, you gotta think about who's gonna be around to bail them out if they get caught. Chapter 1065, the 6 faces of Vegapunk. Oh, so we're gonna find out some more info? I was thinking the same thing. Would you care for some tea? I need some tea. Caribou! Bro, this man continues to pop up. Excuse me, sirs. You're still here? Hang on, just give me a moment of your time. I know our deal was to drop me off anywhere from Wano, but I didn't think we'd be heading for a government island. I heard you helped out... Oh. Give me a second. Oh, man. It's all worth it, y'all, I promise. I heard you helped out our captain. I appreciate it. See you around. These jerks, I'll remember this. Zoro's like, yo, I appreciate you, big dog. And Caribou's like, oh, that's not what I wanted to hear. Lab. And this is the lab that we saw at the end of last chapter. The stairs are moving. We got Usopp and Nami. New steps are sprouting out of the ground. What kind of setup is this? How's it powered? You can see the whole island runs on fire. On fire? After all, you can convert its power into any kind of energy. So it's literally taking fire and converting it into whatever Vegapunk needs. Wait, so that would mean that if they had somebody so is that what Vegapunk was talking about in regards to the Lunarians and potential, or like in the last chapter, or I don't know if it was last chapter or the chapter before, Vegapunk was talking about how he didn't have enough resources to conduct all of this stuff. But of course, someone like a Sanji or an Ace or a Lunarian that is able to create flames, that would be like the greatest natural resource ever, you know what I mean? But of course, you can't work them to death to do something like this. But and Vegapunk probably wouldn't do something like that. But if Vegapunk was like a Lunarian, could you imagine if Vegapunk was a Lunarian? That would make this entire process like 100 million times easier. 100 million times easier. After it can convert its power into any kind of energy. Doesn't that burn through a load of natural resources? I'm always looking into alternative fuels. If only there was such a thing as an eternal flame. An eternal flame? Then I'd be able to make my very own sun. A sun? Bro, you gotta meet my boy Nika! Meet my dog Nika, Vegapunk! but an eternal flame. So if Oda's bringing up this possibility, in One Piece, whenever somebody says if only there was a blank, or does the blank exist, more than likely that means that it exists. And so now we got to look out for this eternal flame possibility and concept, as well as this I'd be able to make my very own sun. You know what I mean? We got to keep that in mind. She's going right through the wall. Lilith. Hey, open up. Lilith John. Stop dilly-dallying and walk through. You should never let your own senses dupe you. Oh, that's cool. So Vegapunk's like, yo, never let what your senses tell you what you shouldn't and shouldn't do. It's the complete opposite, right? Like, let's say if you were to put your hand over a stove, your senses would be like, yo, get this junk out of here. You're gonna get burned. But in this case, Vegapunk is like, yo, put your hand on the stove, son. It's not gonna hurt you. It doesn't exist. And it's like you have to get away from all those preconceived notions. I think that's pretty cool. Vegapunk, of course, has been living with this for so long that it's like, who cares? But for Sanji and them, it's like, man, what is it, Edison? So Edison is the one that reaches out. We passed through too? Yo, Robin, son. No way, it's turned back into solid metal. Hey, look, I know it says it's turned back into solid metal. But ladies and gentlemen, I read that as that Metal Gear. That Metal Gear Solid. How the heck does that work? So this is the lab. Where did Lilith-chan get to? Y'all can keep going dead ahead. Who's that? Vegapunk Edison. Howdy. Now just keep walking like I said. Speaks in a heavy Kansai accent, so that means I gotta take it down a notch down here. Go a little bit down into the country, I suppose. But, whenever Edison... I can't laugh. I can't laugh, boys. Whenever Edison starts talking. Howdy! Now let's just look for some future treasure. Nami has the right idea. Let's get some future treasure. Future treasure like what? Like a flower made entirely out of exquisite antique gems. That sounds kind of fire. That's a weird fantasy. I can't tell if your taste is closer to a little girl or an old hag. And then Nami turns around and kicks a future kick, mind you, at Usopp. And you already know, when Nami and Usopp are up to their shenanigans, it's always peak. They are one of the best duos in the series. So we love to see it. Hey, what are you doing here? Jinbei? So it's not just the current Shishibukai. It's all of this. Oh no! Wait. So if it's not just the current Shishibukai. if it's not. Let's go. If it's not just the current Shichibukai, then that implies that anyone who's ever been a Shichibukai is gonna be a Seraphim. Law. Blackbeard. Oh. They got a Jinbei version of this thing. Jinbei, I don't think that's him. Doesn't he look a little too young? So specifically, well, my guess would be he's his son. So Usopp's like, yo, that's gotta be Jinbei's boy. Now I'm going with option 3, it's a coincidence. Yeah, but on second thought, maybe Jinbei will somehow turn into a kid. Of course, they don't know where Jinbei, Luffy, and them went, right? So they're like, oh, what if this really is Jinbei? I mean, the kid's got wings, although there's an ominous air about him. And Jinbei gets up, we get to see the flames behind him. Yo, Seraphim, Jinbei! Who the heck are you? He may look like a kid, but he's just as big as the real Jinbei. He's just as big as the real Jinbei. So he gets up. I've got a bad feeling there's a fourth possibility. He's a pacifista, so he now with his hands that he would normally create Fishman karate, now he's already creating a pacifista laser. Oh my goodness! It fires that thing, massive explosion. This is within the lab. Yeah, this is all one giant trap. We should have known the government was never going to roll out the red carpet. Does that mean they're using a clone of Jinbei as a soldier? That's exactly what it means. But he's still a kid. I don't really want to fight him. And I love that for Nami, you know what I mean? That is character consistency. This is a character that whenever we saw her in Punk Hazard, she was consistently, and not just in Punk Hazard, but up until this point, you know, with Tama, and especially after the time skip, really taking in those the feelings of being a mother, taking the approach of being Mother Nami in multiple different situations, right? Which is really, really cool, because considering the fact that she was in Whole Cake Island with someone like Big Mom, it's just Nami's journey throughout the entirety of the post time skip has been about this. And I think that's, even now with someone who's clearly an enemy, because they take the appearance of a child, it's going to be very difficult for Nami to fight them. And I think that's super, super cool. I like that a lot. Character consistency, y'all. Character consistency. So Nami stops right in front of Jinbei. Jinbei looks, falls on his back. It says beep beep, falls on his back. What fruit powers? He dives into the ground on some Senor Pink stuff. Remember Senor Pink's ability to swim within anything? He's got fruit powers. What's going on? Should I pop out to help Nami? Not yet, Zeus. Hey, I know that ability. If Frankie knows it, is it actually Senor Pink's ability? Because there's a specific reason why Oda would have Frankie state, "Hey, I know that ability." So Jinbei goes in, grabs Nami by the throat. Oh, and you know how much this would be hurting Jinbei right now, considering that he knows the history and what took place with Nami and the Fishman. And you could even see the Dragon Ball eye right here, the same one that Hancock had. The Seraphim Hancock. Grabs Nami by the throat. That's it. You just... Oh. This man, Sanji, that man said, "Yo, you put your hands around Nami, that's it. That's it. You just signed your contract, brother. You're noobs. That's it. You just signed your own death warrant. I don't give a crap." And we see him fire up the leg, whether you're Jinbei or not, goes in and sweet chin musics the Flagnards out of Seraphim Jinbei. Sends him flying back. And Robin goes straight into Gigante Fleur. That's how you know this is a drastic situation here. So Robin goes Gigante Fleur. What? Yo, look at Robin's face. Mugiwara no Ichimi. My goats. What he said. That was unforgivable. Sea Serpent and Robin. Ooh. Snapdragon Spank goes in and fires her own version of the Jet Gatling. I mean, multiple different hands firing off at once. It looks like Jinbei goes and he swims. So it looks like he does have Senor Pink's ability. Comes back up. Get out of there, Robin. Can you use Fishman Karate too? So you can use Fishman Karate too. So stating that this Jinbei not only has fruit abilities, but can also use Fishman Karate. So Usopp goes in, he's about to deliver an attack. Lethal Green Star, Skull Exploding Grass. And this looks massive, man. So this is a team attack here from all sides. I know this isn't Jinbei, but this still feels messed up, as it should. As it should. He's gone, and he pops up from behind them, clutches his neck. Usopp! I've got this, Sanji. Usopp, don't move a muscle. Radical, and of course, here comes Frankie. Watch it, Shark. Beam! He just used a beam! Who in tarnation is this guy? Oh, it's gotta be Edison, right? I reckon this is getting real risky. Dr. Vegapunk Edison. There it is, Flare Edison. The Seraphim's still just a kid. We ain't meant to put it through a laser test till later. So it looks like at this point, this guy's observing all of this stuff taking place there through a video transponder snail. And he's like, yo, these dudes are going in against Jinbei. So, the interesting thing about it is the wording here. That this Jinbei Seraphim is still just a kid, so that means they can grow. That potentially they have the opportunity to become much older. Like, implying that he's still just a child, and that we ain't meant to put it through a laser test till later, means that either by child they're implying that it's still early in the experimental process as in comparison to others, or that these things have the opportunity to like evolve. Which both of those scenarios are scary regardless, because that just goes to show that once you create these things, they still have more, to learn, to be put through experiments and stuff of that nature. I'm going to assume that's what they meant by that, but that's still super, super interesting. Shout out to Edison. But man, yo, this Straw Hat Team attack is sick. Yo, Robin's face, son? You said it. Does he have the faintest idea how much one Seraphim costs? I'll rip his blasted skull off. I wouldn't go that far. Don't think that's a bit too evil? Oh, Eureka! I've just thought up a new invention. Hey, you gotta love to see it. Hold up. What is it? I'll leave the rest to you, Pythagoras. I'll have to jot down the blueprints right away. Oh, and here we get to see, it says Punk 04. My hands are always full. At this point, I'd even take help from the cat. Meow. Dr. Vegapunk Pythagoras, wisdom. You don't come across battle data this rich every day. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Let's get some input. So, and then this one is apparently the wisdom one, with Pythagoras. So this should be very interesting. And specifically, like, I'm going to assume this one like records data, analyzes that, and probably heavily inspired, of course, by the actual individual. Is probably going to be like heavy math wizard here, right? So a lot of data entry and whatnot. So this should be interesting. It has a bunch of papers. The design is really cool. The design reminds me of something from like a Pixar film in regards to you got the little winder on top like a toy. In the background you have a jetpack. It looks really cool. It kind of looks like a Messenger Z type of robot. It looks very interesting. Very, very interesting. So we cut over, we get to see that, hey, you know something? I can relate to what Edison is doing here. Let me tell y'all. When an idea comes in for the story, I stop everything that I'm doing. This actually happened to me the other day on stream. Whenever I was streaming Trails from Zero. I stopped literally everything that I was doing to go over, and I was like, yo, I got an idea. And no matter where it is, you gotta be ready. Because when those ideas pop, you gotta start writing. You gotta start writing, son. And so I definitely relate to Edison here. And the ideas won't stop flowing. York, be a doll and eat something for me. Sure thing. Oh, bro, I thought this was Big Mom. I thought this was like a Big Mom Seraphim or something, bro. My heart skipped like 10 beats. I had to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. Oh, I need a water break. Oh. Lin. I thought this was Big Mom, son. Sure thing. Munch, delicious. Bring seconds for Dr. York. Her current BMI is over 600. The Seraphim's attack patterns have continued to develop as it grows. That suggests that one's lineage factor really does store some of our recollections and capabilities, which try and accelerate their growth, although that presents new obstacles. Green blood. Concentration has risen and heart rate is up to 90 BPM. I really need the toilet. I'd go myself, but I can't afford to waste any time. The poor thing has to go to the bathroom. Flushes in the bathroom. Ah! Is this York? Does Dr. York do the thing from old girl from Bleach? Yo, Oda's stupid, bro. Yo, flush that thing. I was like, watch out, dude. No, that really hit the spot. Gotta punch something to help me digest. So sleepy. So this is Vegapunk 06, Dr. Vegapunk York. Dr. York's on today's 4th SDN cycle snack dump nap. Snack dump nap, you know. That's wild. That's a wild thing to say. Snack dump and nap. And that's the lifestyle, you know what I mean? Carry over all the materials Dr. Pythagoras needs. Also, Dr. Edison is prepping for another experiment. Get to simulation room 88. That's enough, Seraphim. Return. I can't move. Edison, Lilith, Pythagoras. You three have had your fill too, right? Oh, what a shame. Eureka! Oh, another idea? Of course, a scoundrel butts in when things finally get good. The 01 unit. I'm Dr. Vegapunk Shaka. Ooh. You're the one that owns the knowledge, son. You must be the Straw-Hat Pirates. That's us. What did we do? Did you do to our shoes? They're stuck to the floor. Dom's shoes can be magnetically disabled at any point while in the lab. So you're saying resistance is futile then? I know better than to let my guard down around pirates. I've already met 2 Vegapunks, that woman and the other one on the speaker. Yes, but I am also Vegapunk. Did I forget to mention that I'm Vegapunk too? Usopp is stupid, bro. This man said, "Oh, did I forget to mention that I'm Vegapunk too?" Like, yo, it's like the Squidward thing. He's Squidward, you're Squidward, we're all Squidward. You know what I mean? Would you cut it out? Do you think this island looks like the future? It's beyond the future. I mean, just look at those mecha sea beasts. There's also Vega Force 01 and the island Recon 2. This is as futuristic as it gets. I've never seen anything like this place before. For what kind of goodies are you making here? I want to take a full tour to take it all in. There's no way you and I wouldn't get along. You feel me, Vega-chan? Vega-chan! It's actually quite the contrary. This is an island of the... I knew it! I've been telling y'all this, bro! I knew it! It's actually quite the contrary. This is an island of the past. Dog! Dog! No! Wait! Check it out, Chopper! Oh, no, so we're switching over to Luffy and them. Hold up. It's actually quite the contrary. This is an island of the past. Let me just stop right there for a moment. Dude! Oh, we won, boys! Dude, that is one theory that I wanted to be right. Above so many others. Why? I'm about to read on my inner Stephen A. Smith. Why? Because listen, when I saw the idea for the ancient weapons, I was like, brother, a ship that is flying, a ship that looks like it's a battleship, looks like it's something from the future. Which means that the One Piece that we're currently in is a post-apocalyptic One Piece, which implies that what was in the past was actually a futurized civilization. And I was like, hold on, so the ancient weapons, the reason why Oda has not shown them to us yet is because if he were to show it to us, this would be the biggest hint into what the Void Century actually is. Oh, no, dude. So once again, if this is all actually true, remember back when chapter 967 dropped, and we had that long conversation where I told y'all, and we went back and forth on this in regards to what about if what Roger was laughing at in regards to Joy Boy's story, and of course the Nika thing would come in later, right? That makes literally everybody laugh, and Luffy's dream made everybody do the same thing. But just imagine someone telling you that I live in an era with flying cars. Exactly what we're seeing right here in Egghead Island. Lasers, flying cards, stuff from the future, burgers that come out of things. Imagine somebody tells you that, and so we come from an era where none of that exists. You're going to laugh. Like, what are you talking about? And so, because I've always believed that we come from this is a post-apocalyptic series, that the past is actually an advanced civilization, then it's like, wait just a moment. That would imply that perhaps one of the ancient weapons could potentially be like some type of nuke. Oh, Uranus, bro. But what about what we saw in chapter 1060? What about if that actually is a UFO? Let me finish the chapter. Let me finish the daggone chapter, bro. Let me finish the chapter. Dude, this has me hyped, man. Oh, I've been waiting for this, dude. Check it out, Chopper. You can tell because it's all rusted and stuff. It's real metal, not another hollow thing. Whoa. What the heck? Could something like that really move? If it could, how is that level of tech possible? Something so ancient looking. What do you mean by the past? Well, what if I were to tell you that long ago there was once a highly... Let's go! Let's go! That long ago there was once a highly advanced kingdom. Not unlike Egghead when it comes to technology. What is that? Not unlike Egghead when it comes to technology. A civilization from 900 years ago. Would you believe me? Bro! That long ago there was once a highly advanced kingdom. Not unlike Egghead when it comes to technology. A civilization from 900 years ago, would you believe me? And we see this knight, a knight made of metal that looks like it's been frozen. And once again, this is like the fourth thing that we have seen from the past that is frozen. This thing looks like it's frozen, Ors was frozen, and the giant straw hat was frozen. 900 years ago. Oh, Oda's cooking. Oda's cooking. Dude, we've been saying this for years, right? In regards to, it feels really strange that Oda has never shown anything from the Void Century. Because, for me, I'm looking at it from a storytelling standpoint, right? If I'm the one writing One Piece, I would have at the very least shown something from 800 years ago at this point. Right? Like, at this point in the story, I would have shown the ancient weapons. I would have shown something, right? Because I'm trying to build hype for these things getting into the endgame. But after that Roger flashback, the mindset changed to like, wait a minute. Something so ridiculous is being stated here that no one would take it seriously. And so, if this is the case, which it looks to be, like this is pretty much confirmed at this point, then it's safe to say that Nika... wait a minute, bro! So, specifically, they're talking about that there was a highly advanced civilization from 900 years ago that was similar to Egghead, which means it wasn't like the entirety of civilization, right? Like the entire planet. It was this one place that was like Egghead, but 900 years ago. 900. Oh man, lore pieces moving different. Oh, yo, this might be my favorite reveal in the arc so far, dude. Legit, man. I have been waiting. This is our first look, official look into the Void Century. That there was an island that 120% was like an island from the future. Oh, I love this so much, man. I do, bro. I do. It makes so much sense. Like, now you understand Oda's thought process and why he wasn't able to show us any of the ancient weapons. Why he hasn't been able to show us any of these things that come from the Void Century, because if he did, he would have given it away. We've got to go through it, baby. We've got to go through the slow but sure process, which means if we're starting to see this now, that implies that when we actually get the full Void Century flashback, we're going to go in it with context of like, oh, we're going to be expecting a highly advanced civilization, or we're going to be expecting this and that. Like, we already know at this point that the protagonist of the Void Century flashback is either going to be Instant Messenger Sama or Joy or Nika. I'm going to assume it's going to be Joy Boy, right? So, with that being said, whenever we see it, whenever we get to the Laugh Tale or even here at this point, we could even get it here. We can get a piece of the Void Century right here and now. I don't know, man. Next chapter could be crazy, bro. Vegapunk could know, or you know what I mean? Because the Vegapunk knows that this comes from a civilization from 900 years ago, and the Vegapunk must know some more, right? And obviously, we're going to know the origin of fruits from Vegapunk, so it's like, what else are we going to find out? Oh man, my throat can't handle this anymore, bro. Oh, guys, I don't know if y'all. I don't know if I can properly convey how much I love this this reveal. Oh, this reveal makes me so happy, bro. It makes me so happy because so many things are starting to fall into play. So many things make sense. So many things within One Piece make sense, man. Now I really can't wait to see what Joy Boy was telling Roger and them. Like, seriously. Imagine reading a letter from the past, and that letter from the past tells you that they're living like in the Jetsons. You would laugh at him. Oh, I love this reveal, dude. I love this reveal, y'all. Oh no, I love this reveal, dude. It's not frozen, it's rusted. I appreciate y'all for the the clarification there. So it's rusted. It's not frozen like the giant straw hat or like Ors. Thank you. Thank you for sure. Oh my goodness. So oh man, hold on. So I see a few memberships here. Oh, goodness gracious. Yo, the Queen Slayer, thank you so much for joining the Kingdom of Awesome Sauce. I truly, truly appreciate you, yo. For joining and becoming a member, yo. Thank you so much. Bar M. Holy sweet mother of Flagnards. It says, lore piece, the Jordans and the Santa hats. Luffy has the pipe on the last panel just like the ASL flashback. He does. Oh, that's dope, man. Thank you for pointing that out, Bar M. I probably wouldn't have realized that, honestly. That's wild. Thank you, yo. Vegapunk is playing catch with the Void Century. Recon, that's the thing. That's the thing, and thank you so much, yo. But Recon, that's the thing. The fact that Vegapunk is playing catch-up means that this isn't an island, quote-unquote, that's 500 years into the future. He's trying to get to the same point where they were back then. He's trying to get back to the zero. What happened that caused this all to collapse, man? Oh, the Voice Entry flashback is going to be so fire. Dude, because now we're going to have a potential scenario. Did my computer just turn off? Now we're going to have a potential scenario where within the Voice Entry flashback, we're going to have the... Because just imagine, someone like Vegapunk existed then. They ordered his execution, and or to destroy everything that he's pulled out. They preserved the ancient weapons, or at least attempted to bring them back, right, to get them. Because they were capable of destroying the world. So maybe one of the ancient weapons actually did do just that. Or maybe all three were responsible for eradicating existence back then. The Void Century flashback, now that I think about it, we all expected it to be tragic. I think it's going to be very tragic after this. Because we're going to have so many different characters who've been hinted at for so long, right? And if they were all wiped out around the same time, then what is... Oh, bro, I have so many questions, man. Oh, I love this, bro. I really, really, really love this, bro. Oh, yeah, this is my favorite reveal, man, from this arc so far. It's just... the potential scenarios, you know what I mean? Like, this is lore piece to the max. Thank you, Kwango. Let me actually check that. Colored version. Oh, you're right. Shout out to Grace. Oh, wow. So it's rusted, of course, from being down for 900 years. So what do we know from 900 years ago? We know 900 years ago, Zuniche was punished. And is still carrying that out to this day, right? Like that is clear as day. That's something that we understand. We know that Joy Boy lived, and that time period. We don't know if it was exactly 900 years ago. But we know it was around the time of the Void Century. So instant messengers. So at this point, right, with Instant Messenger Sama. Oh, so we got a super right here. Before I get to the super, let me just finish this thought real quick. Instant Messenger Sama, we all believe is from the Void Century, or at the very least has inherited the will, maybe from like multiple different generations of Instant Messenger Sama. But it's probably one person who lived all the way back then, especially when you consider the giant Straw Hat, right? So that thing actually could be Uranus, you know, that alien ship or whatever it is that we saw in chapter 1060. I'm gonna read the super because shout out to Race M Lucas. Shout out to Race M Lucas. I truly appreciate you for the 10. It says this chapter makes me want to rewatch Atlantis: The Lost Empire. Yo, real talk. If that movie, because I haven't seen it. Is it a movie or TV show? But if this covers type of thing, this is right up my alley. I would love to watch it. So let me know. Let me know if what Atlantis: The Lost Empire has, because I love this type of stuff. I really do. It's one of the reasons why I'm not gonna spoil it, but why another one of my favorite series is one of my favorite series, because it goes into this type of stuff too. And it's an old children movie. Oh, okay. Thank you, Lost Panda. I appreciate you. I definitely gotta watch it. Because I love this type of stuff, man. Yo. Holy flagnars. But yo, Race M Lucas, I appreciate you. Yo, thank you so much for the 10. Yes, Recon. Yes. So I'm going to read what Recon says. Recon says it's going to be O'Hara on steroids. The world government sent the entire world back 900 years, and that is extremely tragic. And this is the thing. This is the thing, Recon, right? Let's look at it like this. Where's my water at? Imagine this. Imagine living within that time period. And there is a scenario where now we're going into like, cars are starting to come into place. It's basically like what we had. Oh my god, bro. So, I just thought about it. So you know how, even though obviously this is just conspiracies, right? But Oda likes to take certain conspiracies and make them a lot of fun, right? So you know, like the one with Antarctica, right? Like how in World War II, there was somebody hidden within, like, I forgot, it was like some sort of lost city or kingdom, whatever it is. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But it was something within Antarctica, right? And which is kind of like Egghead here. But this one particular person could potentially be like Oda's version of Vegapunk here. And but what's most interesting about it is that it was after that discovery was made after World War II that this is why we've had like the biggest technological revolution after that moment. And of course, like I said, it's just a conspiracy theory. But the story is interesting. Like, the story itself is something that I find very fascinating in regards to someone telling a story of why it is that our technology became so advanced after 1945. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very interesting story. And so to explore something like that within this series, I think is really cool. Because now, think about this happening all the way back then, right? Where someone putting all this together, like, it took all of those years, because we don't know how long the One Piece planet has been together. So maybe rather than doing it in the time of that Vegapunk, I don't know how long Vegapunk has been alive, but let's say that Vegapunk finding these ancient materials has been putting all of this stuff together, right? And just based on ancient knowledge, knowing how long it took them to do it, potentially, it may have taken them 400 years to get to where Vegapunk did in his lifetime. Let's just say Vegapunk has been around for the length of like a normal human being, or a little bit longer than that. We know One Piece characters live for quite a long time. So if that is the case, let's just say the reason why Vegapunk is saying this is an island from like 400, 500 years into the future is because that might have been how long it took the ancient civilization to get to this point. And so Vegapunk was able to get to that point in a smaller type of time, because he took something from there and started creating stuff based on that. Which to me makes so much sense because Vegapunk's like, the stuff already exists. They had to create this stuff. I'm just taking what already exists and adapting it to our current to what we're currently doing within the world of One Piece. And I think that's so cool. Now, because the thing is, we look back to the NL cover story, and now I'm going to be looking at the NL cover story different. Because the NL cover story already was our biggest hints into Void Century stuff. It already was, right? Now even more so. Now even more so. Now even more so. Yo, Bar M comes in with a 2 and says Seraphim Jimmy have a Sneer Pink Store Fruit. Dude, Bar M, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So does that mean that Senor Pink is dead? Or did they make an artificial version of Senor Pink's fruit? I don't know. I don't know, yo. But I appreciate you, Bar M. Like, it's crazy. Maybe Emu is jealous. Maybe Emu's jealous of what Joy Boys have. That's why he/she betrayed the ancient kingdom. I think it goes a bit further than that, but I think we're on the right track with that. In regards to Instant Messenger Sama potentially being the individual that made the decision to just wipe everything out. And let's start over from scratch and ensure that we're the ones ruling this place. I believe so, Lazy Mofos. I believe so. So now when Vegapunk, shout out to Fresno, now when Vegapunk is close to reaching age 0, Emu decided to take him out. That's interesting. That's interesting. It's like now that Vegapunk is super close to getting back to square one, to getting back to that 0. Now that's when Imu-sama was like, nah, we've had enough. We've had enough. That's wild. That's wild, man. Yeah, Recon, exactly. Like, straight up, this is like the ancient alien theories. Like, it's insane. I love it. I love it because it's so interesting for a story. Yeah, yo, Recon, I remember after like this is gonna be me after 967 times 5, because after chapter 967 dropped, one of the reasons why that chapter like that experience was special for me is because of that. Because I was like, wait a minute, man, and now it's gonna be like tenfold. Oda, bro. He's been cooking in the kitchen, man. Bro, look up the One Piece timeline. So, Themistocles of Athens says, bro, look up the One Piece timeline on the wiki. It says there are 2 calendars. The Age of the Circle C, which starts 1400 years from the present. And then Robin also mentioned the Age of Heaven. 1400 years is oddly specific. 1400 years is like what we're talking about. It took 500 years for them to get to 900 years ago, which is when this highly advanced civilization started happening. So that was their 0. So perhaps the Age of Heaven was before that. Age of Heaven, whatever the flying flatters that was, I don't know if that was a space age, whatever it was. But then we cut back into 1400 years ago. So is it like BC 80, but for One Piece? Oh man, I'm dude, my brain right now, bro. Because you're right. If that was a space age, then that means that it's just been history repeating itself. 1,400 years ago. That's not a coincidence, man. That's not a coincidence in the slightest. 100% Flynn Rider. But the thing is, right? In regards to being betrayed, and or if the individuals that were in charge back then, especially if they had the ancient weapons, being taken out like this, to me, it would had to have meant that Instant Messenger Sama, or whoever it was that ended up wiping out a lot of this stuff back then, they were the ones that took control of the ancient weapons, because I'm going to assume these were probably the three most powerful weapons, and they belong to three different sides of the planet, right? Like you had like now, where we have like several deterrents all over the planet, right? Where like these are the superpowers here for this reason, there's superpowers here for this reason, there's superpowers here for this reason. So one part of the planet had Uranus, another part of the planet had Poseidon, another one had flipping the Pluton. So it's like you have these three, and I'm going to assume that some sort of thing took place where, because there has to be a reason why they've specifically stated crocodile. I'm sorry for interrupting my train of thought there. But crocodile was the one who introduced us to the ancient weapons. We know that he's been cooking for a minute. Does he know the truth too? If he does, then why specifically go for Pluton? Okay, regardless. So, let's just say Pluton battleship, right? Poseidon, obviously we know what that is. And then Uranus, if it really is this alien spaceship or whatever in the Flying Flatters it is. I'm so interested on, because like I said before, there has to be a reason why Oda stated that these three have the potential of taking out the entire planet, because that means that there's been an experiment done where it has already taken place, right? Where what they did was like catastrophic to the planet itself. Yo, my brain hurts, man. Yes, lazy mofos. The part of this might not be the only reason. A real deal might not be. I do think so, Presno. So Presno says, do you think those robots on the moon were sent away under persistent technology? I do believe that to be the case. I most certainly believe that to be the case. Yeah, Boise Bird, I'm thinking the same thing, that perhaps the individuals whom they have the DNA for, they had to have had it in their, like, under them for at least a good amount of time. At least a little while. So, if they had them for a little while, then they would have had the opportunity to collect their DNA. I believe that is the case. Exactly, Scale. It's like if Imu is portrayed to be this dictator, especially at the time, then it makes sense to attempt to stifle their progress and advancement whenever they believe that it is troubling them. But here's what I find interesting, guys, because we know this is One Piece, and One Piece is all about seeing stuff from several different perspectives, and seeing how, oh man, Rocks had to have had this info too, but seeing things from different perspectives, right? And how And what I'm trying to get to is, if Im-sama is going to be the last person that we face, right? We already know there's the parallels between Luffy and Blackbeard. I'm going to assume that potentially Luffy and Instant Messenger-sama had a different way of approaching their quote-unquote final dream. Because there's going to have to be a parallel like that too. So if Luffy and Blackbeard are both attempting to become king of the pirates, and or maybe even beyond that, right? Luffy and Instant Messenger-sama have to have one too, which means Luffy's way of going about it is going to be his way, and Instant Messenger-sama's was in going that way, because I do believe Instant Messenger-sama was not always in power. I do believe this is a person who rose to power, perhaps even in a similar way that, not extremely similar, but in a way of like collecting other individuals, rising up to become king of the world, and then after that, or maybe the means in which Instant Messenger-sama became king of the world is the difference between them and Monkey D in regards to becoming king. It's like somebody maybe we're gonna see a tragic of a backstory with Instant Messenger-sama where he was never meant to become king. You know, never, not being a D, not being any of these things, or maybe you know, there's a lot of craziness there. Perhaps it's not something that was inherited. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, perhaps the title, like Instant Messenger-sama's crown, current king of the world, was not something that was inherited. This is something that was won. So if this is something that was won, there had to have been something that this character did in order to gain that. And I'm going to assume that this character might have been responsible for what wiped out everything to begin with. And so when the reset happened, and the 800 years ago and beyond started taking place, and the history started being changed just based on the fact of, you know, the 19 that went with them, and the Nefeltari family that didn't, then it's like, perhaps Instant Messenger-sama did all of that to ensure, because we have to see what ambition does to people, and we've seen that multiple times throughout the series with the greatest of villains, right? What ambition is willing to take them, right? Like where that ambition could make someone like fall, right, into the depths. With the potential final antagonist of the series, we need to see that on full display. So, Instant Messenger-sama's ambition leading them to take out an entire civilization is not something that's far-fetched. Right? As a matter of fact, I see it to be very likely. It's like the price, what you're willing to do. It's like, would you really be willing to do anything to achieve your dream? That's probably what we're going to explore with Instant Messenger-sama. Exactly, Syndratic. Exactly. It's like, it's already been established that inanimate objects could have it. So it's like, it's very weird, M-Sphere. Very, very weird. Exactly, Recon. It's crazy, man. Oh, my brain. My brain. Yeah, that's facts, GoldenEye. You're right. Like Zoro is the only one that has that information at this point in time. Black disc. That's what I was referring to earlier. Yes. All of the yes, man. And this is why I continue to say that there's no way that Oda was not inspired by JRPG, by the Squaresoft JRPGs of like the Prime era, man. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that because there are some stories from then that handle this concept to such an insane degree that I feel like Oda had, just knowing how inspired Oda gets by the things that he finds interesting. Yo. It's built different, AWH. Egghead Island is every other lore piece arc times 100. Just this reveal on its own, just put it on its own tier for me. Out of all the lore piece arcs. Personally. This is a top 5 reveal in One Piece. I'm going to be honest. Not only because of my bias towards type of stuff, but this changes the game. This makes us understand Oda's thought process in regards to the way he's told the story up until this point. This is insane. This is legitimately insane. This reveal is so insane I got my voice back. That's how insane this reveal is. Exactly, Iphon. Like another layer of mystery. So Hikiri says, the fruits were creation for this advanced civilization. If that is the case, then what happened with water in the ancient civilization? What happened with water? Because if these fruits were created in the advanced civilization, specifically for individuals, that the only drawback would be that they would no longer be able to swim, then that would imply that the world went without water for quite some time. And then there had to have been a massive, massive storm or something that flooded the sea, that brought the planet to where it is now, where it is not only so fractured, all these islands are completely all over the place, but also it's completely surrounded by bodies of water. So it's like, because... But also the voice entry is going to be a fairy tale of sorts, right? This is the way I've always seen it. So if that's the case, then these cursed fruits, there's a reason for it, right? Like, it's going to be seen as a punishment in and of itself. Ah, dude, I'm like mad interested right now, man. Oh no. Giovanna G says, Recon on the chapter, now we mentioned a flower of gems is a future treasure. On the cover of 470, there's a flower above the automatas. 470? That's actually, that's an... Hold up, bro. Yo. Oda, this is the type of chapter you go on break onto, man. This man came back from break for a chapter like this. Oh, my brain, son. 470. Of course, NL cover story, bro. Dog, the NL cover story. Oh, I see it. So wait a minute, Giovanna G. Then this implies not only was Nami probably cooking, what about Usopp? We know that all of Usopp's lies become truth. Usopp said he'd be... I can't right now, bro. I can't. Yo, Giovanna G, thank you, yo. Super says, advanced technology, Joy Boys, Zoans, and Sea Kings, ancient weapons all together and still lost. Luffy isn't... No, bro, well, none of us are ready. None of us are ready for what's about to take place. So that means the empty throne was actually empty before the Void Sentry. Yes. I believe that to be the case. I believe that there was no one ruler back then, which is why these ancient weapons, like I said before, were separated. Potentially, we had all types of different countries and races. Because remember, if the fishmen have always had this, that means the Lunarians probably had, like Uranus, or the individuals that were in the sky, because that is where Uranus is. And then Pluton belonged to the people of the Blue Sea, as, you know, the people from Skypiea were calling us. So it's like Pluton for the people at ground level, the Poseidon was for below, and for the sky it was Uranus. So it's like all things were in balance. These deterrents were set in place. When the Marijoa was created, and when something like Instant Messenger Sama comes in, then that's whenever the throne is put into place and there's actually one ruler. Because I'm going to assume before then there was 3. and it was clear as day. It's like, yo, they got this, they got this, they got this, and if you attempt to fight each other, you know what you got to deal with. That's the way that I see it, at least. Yes, sir. A class. You know what I was talking about. You knew what I was talking about. Xenogears, man. I'm telling you, straight Xenogears energy, bro. Straight Xenogears. Yo, Michael Mickles. Michael Mickles comes and says, "Made it." Yo, NL could be returning. I gotta get some water for that. Dude. NL could be returning. The moon seems to still have ancient tech. It has had ancient tech for quite some time. Maybe that's where the Celestial Dragons are from. They dress like astronauts and don't identify as human. Exactly, Michael Mickles. And then it's like, if that is a lineage thing, that the Celestial Dragons do come from the moon. But then it's like, because Sabaody introduces to so many like end game concepts, right? That we're still trying to unpack to this day. And we first saw Celestial Dragon there, and the space and the astronaut stuff. Because I'm trying to think of Oda's thought process while like creating all of this. And so knowing how long he's probably had this in mind, setting the pieces up then is interesting to me. Because we've always talked about the possibility of Celestial Dragons not being from the planet, considering that they do have these astronaut suits. But after this chapter, I think it's pretty much confirmed. You know what I mean? Like I feel like now that we know, and I feel sorry for anime onlys that are not going to have the context of the NL cover story. This is why I believe that at the very least the NL cover story should be done as a filler. Even if they do it for like half an episode where they just show like NL on the moon, his escapades, I feel like it genuinely is the most important cover story now, like by far, especially for the end game. Just like how Skypiea was so important for the grand scheme of One Piece, the NL cover story is insanely important. You know what I mean? So with that context, with the Mooninites, the space pirates, knowing what's all the advanced technology that's actually up there, it's like, yes, why wouldn't the Celestial Dragons come from there? Not only that, we understand and we see why they would think that they're above everybody else. Why they don't want to breathe the same oxygen as these people. Maybe to them it legitimately is. I'm not gonna say it's poisonous, like it's literally killing them. But for me, but just looking at it from like a lineage thing, like, yo, we're not gonna be, because we don't know what the Celestial Dragons know, right? And then God. So hold on, going back to your Celestial Dragon comment. God Valley, bro. What did Rox say? What did Rox know in regards to the Celestial Dragons that made him want to go there, specifically to God Valley? And it caused Roger and Garp to protect the Celestial Dragons, considering that he was involved in all this and everything we're seeing now. So this is my thing. Going back to your thing, Michael Mickles. Now everything that we have not seen in One Piece, in regards to this type of stuff, the Rocks, flashback, all of that stuff, now we can 100% guarantee that there's a reason why a lot of this stuff has not been shown. It is because Oda knew that if he were to show us that, we would know what the Void Century would be. And he was waiting for a reveal like this with an Egghead where it would make sense. Having the understanding of someone like Vegapunk, having an understanding that something like this exists within the world of One Piece, to be like, no, this actually comes from the past. So now, after this reveal, we can start putting the pieces together on so many different things. But I agree with you, Michael Mickles. I really do believe the Celestial Dragons potentially do come from the moon. But I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much, man. And then Bar M comes in with a 5. He's loving the spotlight and robbing this arc. She's playing no more games after Wano. Anyone who messes with the crew gets hands, Bar M. Hands. And angry hands, too, dude. You know what I mean? Like, straight up, anybody who went in to attempt to to go up and like somewhere. And it's like Robin was like, yo, you ain't doing that to me. She started going in. Shout out to my girl Robin, man. And Nami too. I love the way that Nami acted in this chapter. Dog. What is the arc maxim? If the arc maxim is capable of taking this man up to space, then what is a spaceship in One Piece? Oh man, dude. Yo, my head, son. Yes, Mora. So Mora the Explorer says, what about Toki? She's from 900 years ago, right? But she dressed normal. Toki, of course, coming from Wano. Wano, I believe, even back then. So I think there's a reason why Wano, why the Kozuki clan was trying to not only create the poneglyphs, but was also, there's a reason why Toki had to escape, right? We don't know what that reason is yet. There's a lot of things that were left out from Wano that, like I said, we're going to find out with context later on as to why they weren't able to, or we weren't able to see that. And I do believe that Toki's going to be one of those things. I do believe, actually, that when we get the voice entry flashback, we're going to see it from Toki's perspective on the mission that she was potentially sent off on, right? Well, I think we're going to see that from multiple different characters, not just Toki. We're going to see it from other characters we've been hinted at for the Void Century. We're going to see the moment in which they were sent on their respective missions and what caused that, right? So it's going to be the thing that brings the entire story, kind of like ties the whole story together. That Void Century flashback, man. I don't know how long Oda plans to cook that, right? I don't know if it's going to be an Odin level, like, length flashback, but that's a lot, man. You know what I mean? Like, unless we start getting more stuff like this where we can put pieces together, and then by the time we get it, we'll get like a little small snippet that's like a volume's length, then I can most certainly understand. And I think that's the route they're probably going to go to, because at this point, right, it's safe to say after Egghead, sometime after that, we're going to Elbaf is going to undoubtedly contain some Void Century information just based on the characters that are there. So it's like we're going to get these little bits and pieces from Void Century for the Void Century stuff. But if the Void Century really is taking place in the future, then boys, it might actually be time for us to potentially, we've been talking about this for a long time, but we might actually be going to the moon. We realistically could be going to the moon. And I know One Piece has 6 moons, but we're going to one of them. Yeah, you'll get Gamer Nebula says, NL could have his own version of that eternal flame. The eternal flame potentially being what can take someone all the way up to space, right? Firing the arc maxim. Yeah, Lazy Morphos, facts. There are spaceship-looking buildings on Egghead. Inside of the globes. Yeah, we need to go to Face, yo. Or Face. We need to go to space. We need to go to space at this point. So, Mew Mew spawns says that the past was so technology advanced. How do you explain Zunisha? I think the most interesting thing about what was said here, Mew Mew spawns, is the way in which it was worded, right? Like, that there was a highly advanced civilization similar to Egghead. So it's not saying everyone was highly advanced, but specifically there was one part of the planet which was highly, highly advanced. which means in the same way in which we are today, or were like a couple decades ago, where we had like one part of the planet that was highly advanced, and then we had other parts of the planet that were not highly advanced. Like not everyone could go up at the exact same time, and keep up with each other. And so I believe that's what they were trying to imply in this chapter. At least that's what Oda was trying to imply, that there was another egghead back then, or an egghead type of island where they were conducting experiments at the highest level as a highly advanced civilization. And that probably means there were other parts of the planet that had that, but maybe not everyone on the planet had that. And I think our biggest example of that would be a Wano. A Wano that, of course, closing off everything to the rest of the world would not... They don't even know what fruits are in Wano, you know what I mean? So if there are other Wanos back in the Void Century that did not know what all of this stuff was, they would just think it's sorcery or magic or whatever it is, right? Rather than actually knowing what it actually is. And so that, to me, would be my answer to Zunisha's existence. Because Zunisha's literally just an elephant, just a massive elephant. But in regards to... outside of the Zunisha conversation, to why other planets, or I'm sorry, why other islands weren't as probably like as highly advanced, it was probably like a Wano situation, right, where they just either did not want to reach the same level as whatever this highly advanced civilization was. They rejected that, they did not want to be a part of that, or they simply just didn't have the resources to be able to do that, because it really did seem like they were all different even back then, right? It's like there's no way the civilization underwater was probably rocking the same thing as the one in the sky, especially if the Lunarians at the time really were considered to be like the gods of the verse and stuff. So they were all probably very different. Even though we had this one egghead, which is highly advanced, and maybe civilization was more advanced in the current One Piece verse, but still, I'm sure there was those Wanos that were like not having it. You feel me? It still happens today's scale, exactly. Exactly. Yo, yeah, Lazy Mobile Facts. Luffy's gonna be rocking that Jackson jacket. He's gonna be like the boys from Space Brothers. Check the chapter cover of 1029. The one with talking about this one with Bonnie? You talking about the one with Bonnie? This chapter had so much, bro. Like my brain. What time is it, dude? Oh man, it's 10:40. I gotta wrap this up soon. We'll go here for a few more minutes. And I still gotta get the Film Red video up. Goodness gracious. Yo, I'm right there with you, Avinash. Avinash B says, this gets me more lost about what the One Piece could be. Me too, at this point. Seriously. Shakabai's demeanor makes me feel like he is saying, I'm not a genius, I'm trying to catch up to what was, which is sad. M-Sphere, I love that, though. I love it because it's going to show a character who is just trying their absolute hardest. It's a tragic character. Like, Vegapunk is a very tragic character. A character who's trying so hard to get the planet back to where it once was, but has a limited lifespan, and had to split themselves up into 6 different individuals just to even be able to get close to doing that. And when Vegapunk dies, will the mission be accomplished? Will he die with his purpose being fulfilled? You know, we could potentially have a very, very tragic character here in Dr. Vegapunk. Exactly, Lazy Mofos. Check the numbers of the animals. Oh, there's 6 of them. The rats with here with oh, the otters. I mean, the otters of Bonnie. Do you think it's a coincidence that the robot in the last panel resembles ancient giants like Gorz? Not at all, Michael Mickles. As a matter of fact, I think that's like on purpose. I honestly do believe there's a reason why our first thing coming out of the time skip, our first 2 things coming out of the time skip, were being introduced to another ancient weapon and the idea of Joy Boy's existence, followed by an arc in which the whole purpose of an island existing is the gigantification of regular people. I strongly believe that whole concept of gigantification and trying to master that is something that they have been trying to do for so long, and it's going to lead into why I said the Elbaf part of One Piece is going to be so insanely important, man. It's going to be so important. We might even find out there why the giant straw hat is as big as it is. Because people back then were probably massive. Humongous. And I think back to the times of the Bible, right, where like they're portrayed to be like these massive individuals that lived back in the day, right? And it's like if Oda's gonna be playing around with something like that, where at the time there were, because One Piece characters even now are extremely tall, but imagine where back then they were even bigger. Like the normal size was that of a giant. It's like then we would understand, or maybe not necessarily normal size, but if, let's just say, right, imagine this. Imagine hockey is not a concept. Fruits just started being found. So all of these different things that would prevent you from being one-shotted by someone 3 times your size, maybe 10 times your size, don't exist. So you have an army of individuals who are stronger than you, bigger than you. If they're like Dory and Brocky, they have more battle experience than you. And you have an entire island filled with people like this. And imagine if someone have abilities. They would be the strongest people on the planet. Easy. Now imagine if a giant had Shanks level Conqueror's Hockey or had a fruit like Year 5. Who's stopping that? They're already like 10 times your size. And they love battle? They're Kenpachis? Yo, there's a reason why the Giants were considered to be the GOATs back then, you know? So it's like, oh, I can't wait for Elbaf. No, Michael Mickles, you're absolutely right, yo. Absolutely right. Man, great stream, thanks for the theory cooking. Thank you all for the theory cooking, yo. I'm just here soaking this all in, dude. Oh, man. Did you notice that when York did her stuff, the other Vegapunk says it as well? Is it possible? Killing one of them may be enough to either weaken the others or they life-linked? Honestly, Scale, I think they might be life-linked. And I'm saying that because I believe this concept is very similar to what we saw in Naruto. But I do believe they're life-linked. However, it could very well weaken the others too. That could be a massive possibility. But yo, Ren Nozen, if you're still watching, please let me know what you were talking about when it comes to the number of animals that were with Bonnie. If you were just talking about like the six Because there's 6 Vegapunks. Oh, President, you sent me something? Well, let me see. Oh, shoot. On that very same cover we were talking about earlier with chapter 470. Oh, this is mad interesting. Can I show this on here? Hold on. Do y'all see this? So, we see Jinbei right there on the bottom, representing the one that's being operated on right here. And this sun thing, it's in relation. It won't show it, unfortunately. But it's basically showing the sun from the chapter 470 cover page. And it points over to Frankie, who says, "Then I'd be able to make my very own sun." A sun? Then we cut down, and it shows someone being operated on the table, but they're being operated on with a wrench. Operated on someone who looks like they're a robot with wings. And of course, that is a seraphim. Oh my goodness, bro. What? How did we never notice my man's had a wrench in his hand? He has a wrench in his hand, bruh. Yo, Presno, thank you for sending me that, yo. Holy flagnards. Oh. Elbaf Spear is low diffing a country, lazy mofos. A country. Elbaf's gonna elevate Usopp to top 3 in the verse. Yeah, just might. If he gets that whole army of giants under him, yo, Usopp's gonna be out here. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, Red Nosen. I got you. It's always tough whenever it's always cool whenever we get stuff like that. Especially since Oda, I'm pretty sure, already had in mind like what was going. I think rather than calling that foreshadowing, I would just say that's Oda just being extremely excited and being like, "Yo, it's go time, baby!" Like, yo, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. I think that would be the same thing because the color spread with that right before Luffy went Gear 5, whenever he's pointing at the tree sap. I don't consider that to be foreshadowing either. I just think that's Oda being excited. Where Oda's like, like, yo, it's almost go time. You know what I mean? But most definitely. It actually might be the case in regards to like Titans, like legitimate Titans being around back then. Because like I said earlier, before we wrap this up, I do believe that every individual in this series, you know, the Nikas, all of those, these individuals who are known to be like these godlike figures in the past, that they were all just regular people. I do believe that. And whether regular people implies that at the time the norm was being a giant, or maybe like these regular people who were seen as like these kings or leaders or whatever the case may be, and that had these crazy abilities that at the time, especially not having the knowledge of fruits, not having the knowledge of hockey, if someone had one of those things back then, they would think that there's some sort of godlike figure. It just makes so much sense. In the same way that in Wano, they thought that Luffy was using some type of sorcery. It's the same type of thing where somebody uses Gear 5. Can you imagine somebody using Gear 5 in 800 years ago with no knowledge of what a fruit is? I think anyone would be like, what? What in the world is that? You know what I mean? Even with, I don't care if you're an advanced civilization or not. You see someone going around and turning other things into rubber, you'd be like, well, dude, this is crazy. You know what I mean? Not having that prior knowledge. And so I believe there's a whole bunch of individuals like that from the past. And so I do believe it is going to be in going into like Greek mythology in regards to representing certain characters having these crazy abilities. Even though in Oda's version of it, it is going to be like there's an explanation for these abilities that these characters didn't understand. Like the people of the time just could not comprehend exactly what was happening, and it led them to just declaring them as being higher beings than themselves because they just didn't get like, yo, how can this guy stretch this far, or how can somebody create fire out of nothing if somebody has the meta, or how can somebody create ice out of nothing, like if you have Aokiji's fruit, or you know what I'm saying, something like that. Because I know I would be like, what is happening? What is happening? What if D represents those scientists who created Dofus and that this was a forbidden technique? However, they used it to fight against gods. Those that destroyed the kingdom of their family still continue to create the D title, and people scared of them or say that they are the enemy of God because they created them. Honestly, Subra, that's not out of the realm of possibility. In regards to this, scientists creating the fruits is something that I don't think happened personally. I do believe that the fruits are going to be outside of the realms of well, I mean, if they were created, that would actually explain quite a few things. Because my whole thought process when it came to the fruit was that it was a curse, right? That it would go into like a fairy tale for One Piece, where it was a curse placed upon humanity for something they did as a punishment, and they would no longer be able to go into the ocean if they wanted to gain power. It is the equivalent of gaining power but not being able to do like go across into the sea, which actually it makes a lot of sense if you're someone in the position of not wanting people to sail. So imagine you don't want people to sail on the sea, and you're like, oh man, let me go ahead and give them these fruit abilities so that they eat that and they can't swim. Like they'll be too afraid to swim, too afraid to go out and find something, right? Something that they don't want them to find. And so that to me has always been that. But in regards to representing scientists, I've never heard of that. That's actually very interesting. The whole enemies of the gods thing is something that's always fascinating when it comes to the D family. And it being a forbidden technique also fascinates me too. I'm not throwing that out of the realm of possibility, Avinash. Not at all. Not at all. Joba being a scientist would be hilarious. Because that would just make the ramblings of a madman in his in whatever it was that Roger read. It's probably gonna be really funny. Really, really funny. The Will of Davy Jones. You know, Studio P, that theory's been around for so long. But with recent knowledge, I honestly do believe that it's possible. That is one of the characters we've had the Flying Dutchman obviously be showcased in Fishman Island, which is a very important arc to the overall lore of the series. So Davy Jones has not popped up yet within the series itself, or at least Davy. Right? We know the Davy Back fight. The Davy Back fight had to have been created by someone named Davy, and which is the most piratey thing ever. So potentially within the Void Century, we'll see the Davy Back fight being created by the person named Davy, being named after Davy, right? Like I said, the Void Century flashbacks gonna have all these different callbacks throughout the series. So I do believe we'll see that. But if D actually is Davy, then that's fascinating. That is super, super cool. Vegapunk creating fruits to replicate them, like the swim fruits, so he succeeded to catch up. Probably that's what Emo wants to eliminate. 100% super. Like it was stated earlier. The closer that Vegapunk gets to where civilization once was, gotta wipe this man out. We gotta wipe him out.
Minks being experimental creatures can also be a thing. That's interesting, Randos. So, like, minks being a race of One Piece that were actually experimented on. And then, years later, the lineage still carried on in their DNA. So, the minks from back in the day, 900 years ago, were experimented on by the original scientists of that advanced civilization. And whatever happened there within their DNA continued on for all these years. I can see that being the case. Imagine that, Luis. Luis Bosca says maybe they'll turn Frankie to part Stella body to hide Vegapunk for the WG. That'd be hilarious. It would be really cool though. It would be real cool. So GoldenEye says, I wonder if Annie's lobby perpetually getting daylight has to do something with this idea of an artificial sun or utilizing eternal flames. So GoldenEye, if that is the case, that implies that the WG has access to this eternal flame. And that scares me even more. Because if they can potentially create this artificial sun, like you said, in Annie's lobby, a place with no darkness, then that would mean the WG has that. So then why doesn't Vegapunk have it? Bar M comes with the 5 and says the fact that Jinbei has the swim fruit and can swim on island as a fishman, double this fishman karate is actually insanely broken. It's super broken. It's like whoever Vegapunk giving him that ability was just genius. Like, oh, Jinbei being able to swim anywhere. Anywhere. The world is his ocean, literally. And he can do whatever he pleases with it. Insane. Insane, Bar M. Insanely broken. Thank you for the 5, yo. Alright, guys. It is 11 o'clock. I'm going to wrap this up. We had a crazy theory. I don't even know if I can do an afterthoughts this week. We've covered so much. We've covered so much here that I might just send everyone here. We have had an amazing conversation today, yo. I appreciate everyone who chipped in, bringing in your theories. This was great, man. I needed y'all so much after this chapter, and y'all came in clutch. So I'm going to think about what to do this week. After I upload the Film Red video, I'll consider what to do. The only other thing that I know is I know we're going to have the Hunter x Hunter stream later on on either Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to assume it's going to be Sunday. But if there is an afterthoughts, look forward to that if something else comes to mind. Because right now, we've brought up so many different things. I'm just so excited, man. This is, like I said earlier, this is for sure one of my favorite reveals in the entire series. No question. I feel like it was built up perfectly. We've had theories on it for quite some time, but to actually see it taking place is one of the coolest things ever, man. Seriously, one of the absolute coolest things ever. So I will see y'all later on in the week. Thank you so much for watching. This was an awesome stream. So we are going to, like I said, Film Red video later on in the day, the one that I recorded last night, and then if I still have a voice left tomorrow, I'll try to see if we can cook something up for a potential afterthoughts or something. We'll see what happens. But for right now, I will see y'all. This was an amazing chapter. That reveal was the icing on the cake. I feel like I just need to reread it to get everything, to process what I read here in this chapter. But that final page was special. And it's lore piece at its absolute finest. So I will see y'all good. It's going to be a good one. Film Red, baby. Film Red greatness. Was amazing. We watched it last night. Yo, Mr. Abdullah. No, dude, I watched it last night. We watched it last night. We all went together. It was an amazing experience. But yo, have fun. Have fun, man. It's an incredible one. It's an incredible one. You'll have a blast. But yeah, we went last night. So you're going tonight at 10? Sweet. Sweet. Yo, let me know what you think of it. I'm going to upload my thoughts on it a little after the stream because I recorded it last night. But yo, we had a blast, man. It was crazy. We were going nuts. We were going nuts. But Subra, in regards to having the afterthoughts, at this point, I definitely want to have one. So I'll probably put up a post for that later on today. But for right now, I'll see y'all. What an awesome chapter, man.